and I was wondering when it was going to happen. Again, Buffalo had to make another fourth attempt at a fourth quarter comeback. This one falling short. A lot of questionable play calls down the stretch. Let's get into it. What's going on, y'all? TK here, back with another commentary. After the Bills-Eagles game, Buffalo falling 13-12 on a 2-point conversion. And this game was interesting to say the least. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're grinding over here on YouTube. Let's get into it. This game looks a lot different on paper. The Eagles only amassed 190 total yards of offense, while Buffalo had 331 total yards of offense. Yet they only scored 12 points. Eagles defense was flying around the ball. Allen was pressured a lot, suffered 5 sacks. With the cause of it, 7 to 8 tackles for a loss, and they hit Allen 7 to 8 times. Buffalo's defense only gave up 190 yards and got a sack. 1 turnover in the game, which very questionable. Might as well say was a gift to the Eagles. Happened early in the game. Allen rolled out to the right side. His arm was coming forward, but they deemed it a fumble. And after the review, it stayed as a fumble. I mean, arms coming forward. It's a textbook pass. I don't understand how it's a fumble. The Eagles ended up scoring their only touchdown on that drive. So very questionable fumble call there. Some other questionable calls during that. Joe Brady had 2 on that final drive where right before on the front half of the 2-minute warning on second down decides to pull the draw play for whatever reason. Not entirely sure. And then on the back side of the 2-minute warning, throws a screen pass. And it's a 4th and long, and they convert it with a hook and ladder. Allen eventually getting in for his second touchdown of the game. Allen going 23 of 35 for 262 yards, no touchdowns but 5 sacks, and adding 17 carries for 27 rushes and 2 TDs on the game. The first one that he had, Badgley had his extra point blocked. So realistically, after scoring that second touchdown, they could have gone for 1 and tried to push it into overtime. But with Badgley's first extra point getting blocked and the fact that he missed one last week, I think that definitely played into them going for 2 and trying to win the game instead of forcing overtime. If it was me, I think I would have kicked the extra point. Your defense is playing about as hot as they can be right now. Go to overtime and see if they can get a stop, and then let your offense go and try to win the game in overtime. That's just me. Buffalo's offense as a whole wasn't able to move the ball. That fumble that they had definitely took a lot of life out. Joe Brady's play calling has been subpar all season, despite having the #1 rushing attack and having the reigning MVP. Yes, they don't really have some of the weapons. Keon Coleman, who was a healthy scratch, as long as Dalton Kincaid missing this game with a knee injury. But I do believe it's time for Brady to go, because certainly they could have done a couple other things differently. They've been riding the second half comeback all season, the point differential in the second half. And I knew eventually it was going to come back to bite them. I'm just glad that it happened during the regular season and not in the playoffs. However, with this loss, that means that despite having the easiest schedule in the AFC, but Buffalo also losing a couple games that they probably should have won, the Patriots do secure the AFC East, and Buffalo next week versus the Jets will be playing for probably just to see if they can maybe get to the 5 seed. They do, I do believe they do need both Chargers and Houston to lose, and we'll see kind of what's going on. But they'll either be the 5, 6, or 7 seed going into the playoffs, and they'll be playing on the road unless somehow they're the 5 seed and 1 through 4 get eliminated in the first 2 rounds, and it's either the 6 or 7 that plays the 5. All around was a sloppy game. Buffalo on paper looks like they should have dominated on paper, but based off the stats from the end of the game. But for those who watched it, it definitely was not that way. That's basically my thoughts on the game. A controversial fumble and Joe Brady's questionable play calling, and just not being able to do anything until the fourth quarter pretty much led to all this. Buffalo's defense did look good. They did shut down A good rushing attack holding Saquon Barkley. 19 carries, 68 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. Great sign. On to next week versus the Jets. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Catch you all next week. Peace, and go Bills.